Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
We had a chance to go to Ferguson, Missouri not that long ago, and we were escorted by some great guys who volunteered their time in their service. We have one of those guys here today, Sam Andrews, who's going to tell us more about the situation in the St. Louis area. And welcome back to the show, Sam.
Thank you, Jakari. Nice to be here.
Now, you were telling us a little bit earlier that you have some breaking news that's going on in your area. What exactly is going on up there?
Well, I just got a phone call that the St. Louis City Police Department, St. Louis Metropolitan PD, arrested 2 citizens last Wednesday during the violence near Page and Watson. The gentleman's name was David Rolfe and Phil Ellerman. They were arrested by the police because they were spotted traveling on Page with bulletproof vests on in their vehicle. They were pulled over, pulled out of their Impala sedan, and then arrested. Their car was confiscated, their weapons were confiscated, and their ammunition were taken. And then they were charged, I'm hearing, for impersonating police for having bulletproof vests on. Now, I've heard one side of the story. I haven't been able to reach anyone at St. Louis City for comment, but this is extremely troubling.
Yes, because we've seen, of course, we know it wasn't that long ago, you and your great crew escorted myself and Joe Biggs around the city of St. Louis, or excuse me, of Ferguson, Missouri, and you had firearms, you had bulletproof vests, which anybody could buy at any place. Myself and Joe Biggs just went to the gun show the other day, where you can buy bulletproof vests as well as firearms. So it's not impersonating an officer to have those things. Both of those things are completely legal and lawful.
Well, what was more troubling than that was their statements that the police had questioned them over 12 times each after separating them, accusing them of being an oath keeper. You are an oath keeper. You're former military. You're an oath keeper. They kept demanding that they admit that they were oath keepers when in fact they were just driving to their father's home to check on their father's house and make sure it wasn't burnt down in the rioting.
Right. So what you're saying here is a very troubling precedent to set, that just men driving in their own personal vehicle, 1, can be stopped, pulled over, 2, being charged for impersonating officers because of the paraphernalia that they had on them, and then 3, being charged that they're oath keepers as if that was some type of crime to begin with.
Well, what's even more troubling is A, these men are not oath keepers. B, they've never been oath keepers. One of them had never even joined the military. But yet the police would not accept their answer that they were not oath keepers. And they kept pushing and pushing and pushing them. And what's really troubling is we now have a pattern with the St. Louis County Police Chief telling oath keepers they can't open carry, and St. Louis City policemen now accosting people, accusing them of being oath keepers, arresting them, and now they've confiscated this man's car, and they can hold his car and his guns for up to a year.
It's completely ridiculous, because I know you were there when we had a chance to speak to Chief Belmar, and I know you were very upset by some of the things that he said. Can you tell our viewers what he said to you that day, Sam?
Well, what's really troubling is Belmar, in our discussion face-to-face, claimed on video that there was no state of emergency declared in Ferguson and that 44.101 didn't matter. And then he claimed later on that he didn't know what that law meant. He had lawyers and he would deal with that later. And then he unlawfully told us that we were not allowed to open carry our rifles in an open carry state where the law 21.750.1 section 2 says very clearly that we are allowed to open carry our rifles and no county may adopt an ordinance interfering with that in any way.
Yes, that's right, because I had a chance to speak to some of the officers earlier that same day, and I asked them what law are these guys violating when they carry their firearms. They said they're not violating the law by carrying the firearms. I said, what's the problem? Well, we're looking into that. They're digging through the law books, trying to find something to charge you guys with. So, Sam, with the few seconds we have left, give people your final thoughts and, what they can expect from you in the near future.
Well, how horrible that police officers all around St. Louis County and St. Louis City are carrying guns, and they have absolutely no idea what our gun laws are. How terrible is that? We as Missouri citizens expect every citizen, including the police, if you're going to carry a gun, you must be responsible and learn the laws that pertain to the carrying of that weapon. The other thing that bothers me more than anything is that our police chief is lying to our face. In one video, he says there's no state of emergency and we can't carry. And then a few nights later on the Allman report, the chief of police claims that there was a state of emergency, that the Oath Keepers used it to advance their platform, and that he's pro-Second Amendment and absolutely for gun rights. This man's lying. He's talking out of both sides of his mouth. These people don't follow our laws, and nothing's being done about it.
And more to that, Sam, I'll speak to the situation last year when myself, Joe Biggs, and Josh Owens were out there in August. They said that your actions were inflammatory and unnecessary, something to that effect. But back in August, they were aiming guns at people in the crowd, shooting tear gas at the people in the crowd, shooting rubber bullets indiscriminately into the cloud of tear gas. I told that to Belmar himself, and he said, well, we're looking into it and we'll try to do better next time. Sam Andrews, I definitely thank you for your reporting and also watching our backs while we were out there. And we look forward to hearing more from you in the near future.
Thank you, Jakari. Be safe.
Thank you. Well, that's it for our show tonight. If you enjoyed it, as I hope you did, you can go to prisonplanet.tv and get yourself a free trial where you can see the nightly news, the special reports, the rants, all right there at prisonplanet.tv. And also go to the Alex Jones channel on YouTube. You can see all the great special reports there as well. I'm Jakari Jackson from the Infowars Command Center, and we'll see you again tomorrow night.
Brain Force is here. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been on this the last few months. You probably noticed I've been more crazed, more focused, less brain fog, more energy, more special reports, and it's because of Brain Force.
We kept changing this formula over and over and over again until it became sort of a grand puzzle. For example, the L-theanine inside of it, that is activated by the different compounds in the yerba mate that we put inside of it as well. This just increases the compounds you already have.
This is what you're actually designed to run on.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a car will run on one form of junkie gas, but it runs really good on what it's designed for.
And that's the principle of Infowars Life, as far as I understand, that you've always had, is that it's not about synthetic chemicals and forcing actions. It's about letting your body do its own thing and giving your body the tools it needs to create these different compounds that are super valuable and super beneficial.
You will find Brain Force and other game-changing products at InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
You are watching the Infowars Nightly News, which airs 7 p.m. Central at InfoWarsNews.com. And your support is helping us defend liberty worldwide.